Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this episode 16 of the Diversey BW Hotelier GM Show Series Season 3. We're just going to close the fourth week of the show with this final session of today, the 16th episode. My last show was with Kolkata, and today I'm in Odisha with this very, very special show. Odisha holds a very special place in my heart. And I have an extremely interesting session today. You know, Bhubaneswar's cultural heritage as the temple city of India, with growing opportunities in pilgrimage and tourism and MICE, make it very, very special. This session will explore how hospitality leaders balance preserving heritage with modern tourism trends, positioning these destinations as hubs for spiritual and professional gatherings. The topic of the session today is Heritage Meets Pilgrimage, Redefining Hospitality Leadership in Bhubaneswar and Odisha. I'm your host and moderator for the show today. My name is Bhuvanesh Khanna. And, Bhubaneswar is celebrated as the temple city of India. It is a treasure trove of cultural heritage and pilgrimage tourism. Our discussion will uncover how hospitality leaders from this region balance heritage preservation. And today we are also joined by a general manager from Puri, which is the land of Lord Jagannath, right? Like we say, Jai Jagannath. Let me begin the show without any delay and bring in our first speaker of the session, Ashirbad Praharaj. He's the Cluster General Manager Operations and also the General Manager for the Vivanta Bhubaneswar. Welcome to the show, Ashirbad.
Hello, Mr. Khanna. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's truly a pleasure to have you on the show, Ashirbad. Thank you for being here. Next in is Rohit Tiwari, who's the General Manager of the Trident in Bhubaneswar. Welcome to the show, Rohit.
Good evening, Mr. Khanna. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be with all of you this evening.
Thank you for your time and thank you for gracing the platform.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna.
Next in is Jalpreet Singh Sodhi, who's the General Manager of the Crown IHCL SeleQtions in Bhubaneswar. Welcome to the show, Jalpreet.
Good evening, Mr. Khanna. Thank you for bringing me here.
Thank you for being here. Sanjeeb Pattnaik and Bhuvanesh need no introduction. Welcome to the show, Sanjeeb. He is the Assistant Vice President Operations for the Mayfair Lagoon in Bhubaneswar.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Sanjeeb. Next in is Samir Ghose, who's the General Manager for the Welcomhotel by ITC Hotels in Bhubaneswar. Welcome to the show, Samir.
Good evening. It's great to be back. I think it's almost a year. You're back online.
It is a little over a year. Yeah, but thank you for being here, Samir. It's such a pleasure. Last but not least, the young man from the land of the Lord, from Puri, and joined by Delhi boy Ankit Tandon, who's the General Manager of the Taj Puri Resort and Spa. Welcome to the show, Ankit.
Good evening, Mr. Khanna. It's a pleasure to be in this esteemed company. As you said, land of Mahaprabhu, Jai Jagannath.
Jai Jagannath. And also, remember, while I have family in Odisha, my grandparents named me after Bhubaneswar, Bhuvanesh.
Wow.
So there's a huge linkage. All right. So with your permission, let me ring in the show and bring in the first speaker. Ashirbad, may I begin? Ashirbad, tell me, Bhubaneswar is evolving into a hub for cultural and spiritual tourism. How does Vivanta Bhubaneswar differentiate its offerings for guests seeking an authentic connection to the temple city while maintaining IHCL's hallmark service standards?
Well, thank you for the question, Mr. Khanna. And Bhubaneswar is definitely evolving, but the way we have looked at it is a little different. While each of our hotels in their own brand spaces are adequately positioned for their brand offering, as well as paying adequate respect to the spirituality and the cultural aspects of the state, Vivanta as a brand, is a decluttered, it's a lean luxury brand, and it's got a more global vibe to it. So when we launched this hotel back in 2021, we made sure that we kept things that way while being connected to the roots of Odisha. So for example, when we arrived here, we did not say we have arrived in the temple city. We coined the phrase, the storied city. And why we said that? Because we did not want to just be clinging on to the past glory, but we also recognize the fact that the state does wonderful things, which is writing history for the future. So from being the land of, the Gupta dynasty, to being ruled by Marathas at one point of time, to being a hub of freedom struggle of India, of course, the layers of Ashoka, influence, Buddhism, Jainism, etc. Today, it's an edutech capital. Today, it's a healthcare capital. Today, it's a smart investment place with great mining, port potential, etc. So each of these somehow add on to become the heritage of the future. So every aspect of the hotel, whether it's a product or even in the service design, pays subtle homage to the history of the culture of Odisha. We also do things. For example, we bring in Raghurajpur artisans, are someone we work closely with, and every weekend these artisans come down to the hotel. They display their merchandise, they sell their products, but most importantly, they popularize and they send the story gets passed on about how Pattachitra evolved and so on and so forth. A smart hotel requires smart people. So we have trained our employees to be great storytellers. So they relate the guest requirements of a typical global business traveler to the history of Odisha. And they point them in the right directions, whether it's visit of the temples, it's an example of sampling the local cuisine, or a look at the arts, etc. And then, but that's pretty much how we have positioned ourselves as Vivanta in particular.
Interesting. You've set the context on how the show will progress. But thank you for that. Odisha has given so much, but honestly, well, I knew about the Gupta Empire. I didn't know that the Marathas also ruled over Odisha. That was something which is missing. But yes, we learn every day. But Odisha has given India so much. Of course, it had the most politically stable environment, and they've just had a change. And also the culture of sports, not just food, not just spirituality, right? So hockey has seen a lot of progression under the last Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Pattnaik. Yeah. But thank you so much, Ashirbad, for setting the right context. And that gets me easy and gets me into the groove to put across my next question to Rohit. To you, Rohit. Rohit, Trident Bhubaneswar is known for luxury hospitality in a heritage-rich region. How do you ensure that guest experiences reflect both luxury and the unique cultural identity of Odisha?
Right, sir. Thank you for posing such an insightful or a thoughtful question, if I may say, sir. Unlike fast-moving tourism circuit, Odisha offers a lot of spiritual, cultural, and adventure experiences that are very immersive and nourishing as well. And if I say nourishing, sir, I mean it. They touch your heart, right? Because of the simplicity, because of the things which have still not been commercialized in the city or in the state, sir. Odisha has got a rich heritage, which has got a blend of ancient temples, vibrant art forms, spiritual traditions, and a lot of natural wonders. you'll be amazed to know that we are the only state wherein you find melanistic tigers, which are like black tigers. And a lot of people don't know about it. So at Trident Bhubaneswar, what we do is we believe that luxury is more than just impeccable service and elegant surrounding. It has to be an immersive experience wherein your guest connects to the cultural richness of the region. And especially when you are in Odisha, which has got such a vast history, while delivering the highest standard of the hospitality. Okay. Our approach to luxury hospitality is deeply connected with the cultural heritage of our state. We ensure that every guest experience reflects both refined elegance and the essence of the region, sir. So what we try to do is we try to do it through architectural and interior design. We are blessed to have a property which has been around for last 40 years and imbibe the temple architecture of Odisha. So when you enter in my hotel, you see that the temple architecture of Odisha is everywhere. Okay, whether it's an inspiration from the Konark with regards to intricate stone carvings, or the textile, right? The material which we use in our guest corridors and all. We try to offer authentic culinary offerings from the state as well, sir. Our Odisha state has got a good 500 kilometer of coastline. So whether it's a freshest seafood sourced from the Bay of Bengal or a temple thali experience, which is very, very unique to our guests. And then we come back to our personalized and intuitive service, which is the hallmark of Oberoi system. We ensure that true luxury should lie in thoughtful service, and our team at Trident Bhubaneswar embodies the warmth and hospitality synonymous with Oberoi Group and Odisha culture. And like Ashirbad sir mentioned about cultural showcase and immersive experience as well, wherein we get these curated experience that brings in Odisha vibrant art and tradition to life. So we offer session of our live Odissi dance performance, artists coming and showing the filigree work, which is very, very unique to our state, originating from Cuttack, and a storytelling session about Jagannath Rath Yatra and the different stories about Jagannath as well.
Excellent. I agree with you. Every part that you said. And Odisha has so much to give back to us in terms of everything, be it art, be it spirituality, be it whatever, But then the inbound traffic into Odisha is so pointed because they're seeking out. They know what to do. But the challenge is to grow the numbers. Right? And give them matching guest experiences. Thank you so much. That brings me to my first question with you, Jalpreet. The Crown SeleQtions represents an upscale boutique approach. How do you tailor the SeleQtions brand to reflect Bhubaneswar's blend of modernity and tradition in a way that attracts both domestic and international travelers?
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. I think I'll revisit my positioning of the city, and you very well spoke that it's a boutique approach hotel in the city. We call Crown IHCL SeleQtions Ode to Odisha. It's basically a poetic gift of contemporary Odia culture by the IHCL to the state. I'll also request you to refer to the positioning which we have set in the city by saying that Bhubaneswar is with storied past, with its enterprising future. We have created a hotel which is well balanced, which is in between the temple town, smart city, spiced with the rich homegrown flavors of the Odia art, history, tradition, and culture. Keeping in view our positioning, we have set our certain experience deliveries, which we connected with sight, hearing, and taste. In sight, I would say that the entire design of the hotel has been influenced by the Sambalpuri Ikat design, which has been very, very prevalent in the hotel, which influences every traveler, guest, coming to the hotel, which is a very modern representation of the modern Odia architecture or design or art. Odissi dancers, mudras are part of our guest stay experiences when they visit our rooms around. They're part of that. Color scheme is also very well balanced between Indian roller bird and Neelkant and Ashoka flower, which is our state flower also for the Odisha. So that's a fine balance which a boutique hotel like the Crown IHCL selection creates. So that's why we say it Ode to Odisha, very modern boutique hotel representing the new forms of Odisha. In kind of hearing, that's one of our strengths. We say we have majestic arrivals and Jagannath Aarti at the lobby, which we do every day for every guest whomsoever comes to the hotel. For taste, we have our selection food philosophy, which is particularly allows us to be hyper local, which is one of the selection food philosophy. And we say that we work on providing our guests best of the local experiences through temple cuisine, ghar ka khana, Odisha in a tiffin, which allows our guests to understand that what more Odisha is all about.
Thank you so much, Jalpreet. You presented a good case, not just for your hotel and brand, but also for the city. That let me carve into you, Sanjeeb. You know, Mayfair Lagoon is not just synonymous with luxury and heritage. It is a address. So you've become a destination within a destination. Tell me, what are the operational challenges that you face in maintaining the reputation of Mayfair Lagoon as Bhubaneswar's premier hospitality destination while catering to an evolving traveler demographic?
With Khanna, maintaining the reputation of any hotel, which is a premier hospitality destination, it does come with certain share of its own operational challenges. If you look Mayfair Lagoon, you find Odisha in itself in every form. So, the primary thing the first challenge comes is maintaining the heritage with the modernity, right? The Mayfair Lagoon blends heritage with luxury, which makes it unique, such as architecture, design, it's the hospitality. So, striking a balance between preserving the heritage aspect of it with the modernity and introducing modern amenities is a little challenging, so which requires a continuous investment in infrastructure while staying true to the legacy of the brand. Second is, the operational cost of it. So when you try to blend the modernity with the heritage aspect of it, it involves some costs. Then, navigating to the competitive landscape is an important part of it. Then, apart from that, considering right now where the talent that you hire, that you retain, and the amount of investment that do you for the consistency in the service part for the guest satisfaction is a challenge right now. So, if you really look at it, and if you're trying to combine the heritage or the tradition part of it with the modern guest requirement. So there is a challenge, but somehow we believe in ourselves, and we have been here for almost more than 2 decades, and we have been maintaining it. So every now and then, when you come somewhere, you find a lot of changes with a lot of art and crafts. The service standard is still maintained so high, and then we ensure that primarily when somebody comes in, we try to welcome them with namaskar, the way I said. Then we try to bring in every aspect of the authenticity of the local aspect of it into the modernism. Somehow, although there are a lot of challenges, but we are still able to maintain it, and we are, rolling ahead with our heads high.
Well, thank you so much. You've actually, the act of hospitality, you're lifting the bar. In fact, you've lifted the bar. right? So one has to come to Odisha, one has to come to Mayfair and all the hotels which are on offer. So let me thank you so much, Sanjeeb. Samir, if I may come to you, tell me, sustainability is a cornerstone of ITC hotels.
Correct, absolutely.
Right. So how is Welcome Hotel Bhubaneswar integrating ITC's ethos of responsible luxury into its operations while appealing to eco-conscious travelers?
So I think any of our hotels which we built, and this is something which we had built from the scratch, and sustainability has a large role to play. So all basic day-to-day work also, like for example, for the wastewater which is there, that's being recycled for horticulture purpose. So that is happening to reduce carbon footprint. You are using electric heat pump. That's adds on to thing. All of our hotels would be having a Shunya aqua plant. So the glass bottling in-house plant itself reduces the single-use plastics. So we had moved away. I mean, even before any declarations came in from the government, we have all moved to this Shunya aqua plant. Rainwater harvesting is something completely part of our culture, which we do over here and to most of our hotels. Okay. Food water is also used for on-site organic waste composite machine to turn it off. So all these electronic vehicle charging machine is there. So multiple of all these efforts which comes into play in all the different factors of sustainability. That's what ITC believes in, and this is something which we have imbibed from the project stage itself. It's not something which you start the hotel and then you start thinking about it. So that is part of your culture, part of the thought process, part of the planning, even before you start the project. So that's something which has come into play, and that's something which we have been doing in. And that is something we'll take it forward. And it's about consistently doing that and ensuring that we contribute to the sustainability. And a lot of guests also would come and interact and talk about these things. And keeping the team briefed so they can talk about the basic work which you're doing. And especially the new age travelers, compared to earlier, are becoming very, very sustainability conscious. For maybe the little older generation wouldn't be really so conscious about it, but when you interact with the younger guests coming in, they do talk about it. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people talk about it and want to know about it. And then especially when they hear the name ITC, that's one of the conversational topic which happens. And because that's the way we position ourselves, talking about sustainability, talking about responsible luxury.
So my parents' generation or my generation who grew up in the 60s and 70s and 80s, we were very conscious. We came from a time when we will exchanged empties for filled bottles, right?
Absolutely.
But there was something went wrong in the late 80s to to this millennium. But what I've realized is that the younger generation is aware, they're educated. So education makes a lot of difference.
Correct. No, I think that time what happened is probably the sudden advent into, aping the westernization which came into being.
Correct.
I think that's what happened. But
I call it the tissue paper generation.
But thankfully, what happened is for us, because our progress as a country happened in such a short span. In Western countries, the waste was much longer.
True.
But good for us that, our generation and the current generation, the gap was probably only about 20 years when this wastage mentality was there. True. Before people realized and changed. True. So I think that's the positive part. And I think as a country, as a generation, the current generation, people are far more open, point number one, and far more looking forward towards understanding sustainability, understanding and becoming more responsible citizen. I think that is the best part.
That's very
and it really makes our job easy.
Thank you so much. Let me now just circle into Ankit Tandon. This is the first time I'm doing a show with a general manager from Puri. So Ankit, Delhi boy in Puri, managing a Taj hotel. So, okay, let me pick on your experience. Tell me, Taj Puri Resort and Spa is located in Puri. The city, of course, we all know is renowned for its religious tourism. How do you balance the demands of pilgrimage travelers with those seeking leisure and wellness experiences at your property?
So, sir, I'll start with something very, very unique. So, Puri, as we all know, is one of the Char Dhams. Now, the only luxury option which one can explore in this place was always, as you said, the one and only Mayfair. I should say, to keep Mr. Sanjeeb, more smile-hearted. Now, what has happened is the Pan-India brand. So, we are the first Pan-India brand, if I have to say that, to come into the luxury segment. So, IHCL brought Taj, and now with this kind of a place where you have the Jagannath Ji as your USP, one element is always taken care. As you said, people have been knowing Jagannath Ji, people have been knowing Puri. The other element which Odisha offers, and which is also its tagline, India's best kept secret. You have one of the most beautiful beach side.
Oh, true.
I agree. There are 12 blue beaches in India, and one of them is in Puri.
I'm aware of that.
So see the aspects when I'm saying that when you said, how do we look into this destination from a point of view of spirituality to the tourism of beach, and I'm coming to the wellness part as well, wherein we have something called, in our property, we are offering, say the J Wellness Spa. But the major thing which is going to be changed, and a mindset will be evolving, is from a one-night destination to a 2-night to a 3-night. You have Raghurajpur to be nearby place. You have Chilika to explore. You have Konark to go by. The Puri is something which I say with the anecdote of, I studied in Goa, so IHM Goa, and had the privilege of working in many cities which had the background of Lord Vishnu, whether it has been Trivandrum, where is Padmanabha Swami, whether it has been, Chikmagalur, where is the Veernarayana Swami, Vijayawada, closer to Tirupati. So I say Puri has got the best way of offering the spirituality and the beach longevity. So you can have Goa and Tirupati together in one destination. You can keep the generation travelers together. So you can travel with your grandmother, mother, with your new generation, and make them feel the advantage of having a leisure and a spiritual angle together. So that is how I always say exploration of Puri should be the new destination for us.
Thank you. I'm so happy I asked you this. That brings us to the midpoint of our show today. And with your permission, I shall take a short 30-second commercial break. Thank you so much, Diversey, thank you for all your support. It means a lot. And what you're doing for this industry and for the cause of the industry is invaluable, not in terms of money, but in terms of how the BW Hotelier, the Diversey BW Hotelier GM show can showcase this industry, the general management talent, and all our discussions to the furthest corners of our subcontinent and beyond. The show is being watched across, like I did say in my previous show today, is being also watched in Australasia, in Southwest Asia, in Southeast Asia, and across the Middle East, which is Southwest Asia, and parts of Africa and Europe. But thank you so much, Diversey. This means a lot. Now, let me come back to you, Ashirbad, if I may, with the second question. Ashirbad, tell me, as a cluster leader for the IHCL, what is your strategy for balancing growth in leisure and MICE segments across Odisha while navigating the infrastructure challenges in emerging destinations like Bhubaneswar? It's extremely critical, and you, as the cluster head, are in the best position to share your views.
Well, thank you for that question, Mr. Khanna. So, three key salient points that I would like to share is within whether it is Odisha, or even Jharkhand for that matter. Our first strategic objective is to increase our portfolio presence. Within a market, there are sub-markets, and sub-markets have their own set of requirements. So talking about Bhubaneswar, while there were the market leaders, for example, Sanjeeb Bhai's hotel was always here, and then we also had our own ginger operations here. I think Samir would remember that at a point of time when our hotels were opening almost at the same time, it was very critical for Odisha to show its ability to create supply, bring in new supply to support the demand to host world-class events such as the hockey and the FIFA World Cups. And I think Odisha has not looked back ever since, and neither have we as an organization. The second strategic thing that I would like to say here is to dovetail our objectives, our strategic workbook objectives of each of our businesses to match that of the state government and the way in which it's progressing. To give you an example, Odisha government has got this very beautiful plan called the Ekamra. Now, the name Ekamra resounds, but it's actually an abbreviation. And under the Ekamra project, Odisha government would like to revive the old heritage monuments. There are temples here. I mean, we all know in the city, we all know Lingaraj temple as the 11th century temple. But then there is a Purushottam temple just 200 meters away, which dates back to 7th century, and it's absolutely beautiful and intact. So, it's reviving this so that the state keeps progressing as a modern hub, but at the same time, it's got its deep connections to the past. So in every of our brand offering, whether it's in a MICE hotel like Vivanta, where we are putting the cultural experience into the itinerary, or a boutique hotel like Jalpreet's, where we are working out a customized stay experience for a HNI guest, or maybe at Ankit's place, where a destination wedding has been planned with the element of the temple and the beaches into it. We are also working on similar lines so that it's a win-win project for everybody. And I'm not just talking about the portfolio, I'm talking about the industry in general. The third strategic aspect here is to understand, and I think I have made a mention of it earlier, that heritage is not just about your past. Its heritage is about the history you write today, so that somebody after you can look back and said, those guys did a fantastic job. And Odisha is doing that. Odisha is writing history in this field of sports, in the field of engineering, in the field of infrastructure. And we love to be a part of it. And I think all of us here, all hotel companies, are pretty gung-ho about it. Now, in your question, I think you mentioned certain challenges also. So I think since I mentioned three strategic objectives, I would also talk about three challenges. One is, as hotel spaces grow exponentially, there is a need to have a constant supply of skilled resources. So IHCL as an entity works at skill development at multiple levels. We have deep reaches in the East and Northeast region under the leadership of our Senior Vice President and the Human Resources setup of IHCL in general, where we know that the hardworking employees of hospitality, a lot of them come from the East and Northeast. And what we are trying to do is now we are putting a structure to that, and we are creating workforce of the future backed up by education and dignity. The second thing, I think you had mentioned this in your opening remark, the second challenge is the destination push. Now, the question in the room is, who will promote the destination? Is it just the work of the government? Is the work of the travel fraternity? I think it's everyone's job. So, we have also been doing a lot of destination push at our end. One very interesting campaign that we ran for East and Northeast India is the land of the rising sun. And because the sun rises with the east, so we wanted to promote all of our hotels with that air of freshness. It's where the day begins, and that's where the story begins. And there are multiple such efforts which overcome the challenge of a destination push. And the more you do, that much more you need to keep doing. Third is, of course, connectivity. Any destination that has to grow in volume also should have the capability to handle that traffic. Roads are great, railway network are great. Bhubaneswar airport has a limitation of its size. It's a good airport. It's gone international in the last year or so. And we expect that to grow a lot more because globally we as a company have a presence, and then we need to and we will leverage our presence on both sides of the ocean to bridge the gap. I think that said, I cannot think of any greater challenges than this, and that's our strategic objective. Sir, you're mute.
So I said, I'm so happy with your response and happier still with that I asked you this. My takeaway from what you said is that, people are going to judge us by the way we handle the current situation. Yeah. And that's all about heritage. Heritage is not about what we've seen come from the past, but heritage is how people tomorrow will see our acts done today. Yeah, so very well summed. I just hope our back-end social media team is going to carry that bite of yours to the Twitter. So watch out. We're on social media, so each word that you people speak is going to be there for posterity. Having said that, Jalpreet, thank you so much, Ashirbad. Once again, thank you so much. You're a great brand ambassador for your brand, the state, and the industry. Thank you so much. Jalpreet, tell me, how are you leveraging Bhubaneswar's status as a UNESCO World Heritage City candidate to create immersive experiences for your guests while positioning the crown as a gateway to Odisha?
That's a great question, Mr. Khanna. I think that resonates me with the IHCL sustainability framework, which is Pathya. And we always say preserve, promote, partner, promise. And to connect that with UNESCO, which is Konark Sun Temple, which is the UNESCO heritage for in the Odisha. Ekamra Kshetra and Chelika Lake are also part of the proposed UNESCO heritage with the state is and the country is promoting. So as a brand, IHCL SeleQtions, we have been promoting the culture by engaging with certain local artists to promote our music philosophy, which is part of the selection music philosophy positioning. So rural artist from Puri has been positioned in the hotel to welcome every guest arriving at the hotel. And that's one of the greatest positioning this city has witnessed from IHCL. That's a very different take altogether for guests arriving at a IHCL hotel. And I would say that we brought entirely a different form of art in hotels, which was mostly witnessed in the temples of Odisha. Then take it forward, we spoke about Ekamra Kshetra, and so we have created some specific selection temple experiences. Bhubaneswar is a temple city. We connect that with SeleQtions temple tours. We have created specific Puri and Konark day outings so that our guests are very well connected with our UNESCO heritages altogether. Also, to promote as we spoke about, Ashirbad, Ankit both spoke about Pipli and Raghurajpur, which are the local heritage villages, promote we look forward to promote, and we continue promoting the art which has been constantly created there by engaging with the artisans directly, by buying a lot of giveaways, by buying a lot of specific art forms directly from them, whether it is made of fabric, wood, or pine leaves, which help us to connect with the culture, stay connected with the Pathya guidelines as IHCL guidelines, and yes, promote the culture of the state.
Tell me, Jalpreet, was it Guru Nanak Dev Ji or Guru Tegh Bahadur who came to Odisha?
Guru Nanak Ji, and we have 3 Gurdwaras in Odisha, 2 in Puri and 1 in Cuttack, where his foots were being put, and they are historical Gurdwaras.
There is a lot of historical significance.
Yes.
Excellent. I'm happy I asked you this, and thank you for your response.
Pleasure, Mr. Khanna.
All right. Thank you so much. Tell me, Sanjeeb, with increasing competition from international brands, how does Mayfair Lagoon preserve its unique identity and ensure its sustainability while remaining an icon of Odisha's hospitality landscape? Look, I have no doubt the others will have to stretch and do more to match your act. But why don't we hear from the Don himself?
Competition is good, Mr. Khanna, but you know what? When you try to excel yourself, you have to compete with yourself first, because you need to raise the bar by yourself. Mayfair Lagoon has a strong foothold in Odisha's hospitality landscape due to its unique blend of luxury, heritage, and the personalized service. The group itself has its roots to Odisha also. Okay, you know what? In order to be, as I have earlier said, also, there are a few aspects where we try to keep on improving ourselves on day by day. So, emphasizing heritage and culture. Okay, our deep connection with Odisha's culture and heritage sets us apart from many hotel chains, because I mean, the arts, the artifacts, and the everything. I mean, if you look at the decor and everything, the design, the ambience, it sets us apart, which reflects the rich cultural legacy of the region. Creating an immersive experience for the guest. Okay, we celebrate local traditions through various festivals. We have curated culinary experiences. We have got an authentic Odishan restaurant known as Kanika, which serves the excellent Odishan delicacies. I mean, serving from all the districts of the Odisha. Okay, and apart from that, we have got our strong brand and community engagement. So, Mayfair's Lagoon is more than just a hotel. I mean, it's an integral part of the local community. Our local brand is built on a stronger local ties with a commitment to supporting the growth of the tourism in the state. Secondly, the diverse experience. We continuously offer unique experience that larger chains, I mean, are offering also. But we got a little step beyond that. I mean, with due respect to everybody, okay. So we have custom designed event themes, and we are capable of doing a larger scale of events, because we got 8 hotels in the state itself. So with the kind of the logistic support and everything, so we are capable of doing a huge events like that, the one we recently do, the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, and so on and on. That's the thing. One thing which sets us apart is our service. I mean, I do understand that, I mean, with due respect to all the panelists over here, because I mean, we in Mayfair say that we don't have a word no as in our dictionary. I mean, we cross every limit, every boundary of it, to ensure that the guest service and guest requirements are being met, and that's how we have been surviving in this hotel for last 25 years. And just to tell you, we are coming up with another hotel of 400 keys, opening up in 2026, known as Mayfair Sanctuary. So we'll be having about 520 keys in the city itself.
Well, that is huge. How far
Yes.
away is it from here?
I mean, it's in the city itself. I mean, from my hotel, Right
And
now
what
it will
is,
be
what
another
is
five.
what is the plot size?
It's 20 acres, sir.
20 acres.
Yeah.
And
And
it's flat, or is it going to be vertical?
no, it's not vertical, sir. It is spreaded across.
All right. Excellent. Thank you. Mayfair amongst the local brands has really put up its act at the very top. Thank you so much, Sanjeeb. You
you.
presented a damn good case for Mayfair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now let me come into you, Samir, with your second question. Tell me, as Bhubaneswar emerges as a MICE destination, what unique facilities or services does Welcome Hotel offer to differentiate itself in this competitive segment?
Mr. Khanna, taking a cue from your question, probably I will just make a small correction, and probably I'll just go back a little more down the memory lane in 2020 when I was, actually supposed to come to the city. Of course, then COVID happened, and that point of time I was, doing a little research about what makes the city move. So even at that point of time, I mean, the research at that point of time also talked about how historically the city has been opening up to conferences and especially pharma conferences, etc. So it was definitely there earlier. I mean, obviously, it may not have been like the bigger mega cities, but for the city of its size, the amount of conference I think even which the city had pre-COVID was pretty huge. But unfortunately, after which COVID came in, and then there were restrictions, and there were changes of rules. And I remember just after COVID when we opened the hotel, probably only Ashirbad would remember how we would be taking conferences, confirming conferences, and suddenly there will be a cap. Now you can't accommodate 200 people, you bring down to 50, and we're saying what exactly is happening? The rest of the country is open, but we are still on to it. So, but I think there was a very, very small phase after which I think the state had bounced back. The COVID era was gone, and MICE was definitely back in the city. And this city, both from MICE and banqueting, I mean, even outdoor catering, which Sanjeev is still the prime player. I think there's enough and more than enough opportunity in the city. And as you have seen in the last couple of years, like I think one of us spoke about the sports vertical. The sports vertical working in a particular manner. We have had the the FIFA happening, the World Cup hockey happening. So all those things were definitely in place. And as this year has started, I think Pravasi Bharatiya, starting with the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, and then immediately after this, as we ended the Make in Orissa right now, we had a head of state movement which happened in our hotel itself. The president of Singapore came and stayed. So there's multiple things which is happening, and I think as a city, we're definitely there. And coming, before I move on from the city, like Ankit's hotel is opened in Puri, or another, one of our brands, Fortune, is opened in Puri. And the amount of traction, I think, which I hear, which is happening at the 5-star segment over there also is pretty huge, and great opportunities. I mean, one wouldn't have probably imagined that kind of opportunity lies even in a Puri where there are not much of a 5-star hotels earlier, except, the Sanjeev's Mayfair property. So even as a company, I mean, coming back to it, while putting the premise of the state, even as a company, I think we're completely into this. And with that kind of an assurance, because when we built our hotels, especially Welcome Hotels, luxury hotels usually have a certain larger amount of banqueting. Welcome Hotels, the new ones which have built in the last 2 years, all been around 4,500 square feet. And that's the kind of banqueting we have had all this time. But keeping in mind, seeing the city's potential and MICE requirement, two of the newest investment which is being done by the companies happening in Orissa. Our own hotel, hopefully in a couple of 2 to 3 years' time, would not remain a Welcome Hotel. We're doubling our room capacity, and our banqueting from our 4,500, we are adding to another 2,000 square feet of banqueting.
Oh, very nice.
So it will definitely be a premium brand, and the work is just about to start. Similarly, in Puri, our work has already started, and that they were expecting around up to around 9,000 square feet of banqueting. So state has and that's investment, that is ITC investment which is coming in. So state has a huge potential.
The promise that the state has for the industry and the general business environment.
Absolutely. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg.
All right. Excellent.
I mean, with only a couple of events here and there, which you see the amount of traction the state has, amount of movement which is happening, it is tremendously high, and I'm sure with a lot of positivity which we saw. I mean, yesterday the Make in Orissa, there was this talk on tourism. Ankit was there, I was there. We had gone to attend, and the entire vibes which we got from the state, it's so positive. I mean, I have been into so many other state conclaves, but it was so positive. We can understand the state actually wants to do things. I'm sure with that kind of
So it's so heartening to hear your positive sentiment and faith in the state's ability to carve a niche for itself. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's very valuable and and you feel happy when you talk in such glowing terms of the future. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Ankit, tell me, even though you're very new over there, but obviously you've done all your work, Puri's popularity peaks during events like the Rath Yatra, which draw massive crowds. What operational strategies do you deploy to manage large-scale events without compromising guest satisfaction?
Mr. Khanna, I will start with a small, words which I think which you have already spoken about the state. I'll just take a few seconds on it. As Samir was mentioning, we were there yesterday. The tagline which is there right now in Odisha which has been coined by the Chief Minister and then said by the Prime Minister as well. It's like "Yahi samay hai, sahi samay hai." So that is something which is the prominent part for Odisha tourism these days. Coming back to your question. Let me tell you, Rath Yatra is only one aspect which we speak about when we talk about Puri. We had opened on 24th of December 2024. The entire stretch of those 8 days was equivalent to... 1 mahina hua, sir.
Bus.
So I was about to say what you said, that Ankit, what was the impact of a Rath Yatra or the large-scale gatherings? Let me tell you, large-scale gathering in Mahaprabhu's place can happen anytime and every time. So those 8 days, when it was a New Year's Eve or a New Year's, the New Year day, it was equivalent to, if not Rath Yatra, 50% of Rath Yatra. So we had seen the entire aspect of all those elements which one would see to manage these kind of events and these kind of flow to the city. The city is still developing. However, the authorities in here are very, very vocal about ensuring that we have the comfort of making sure that each and every visitor should be taken care. So as an IHCL hotel, we also ensure that all those details are available with us. We are in sync with the local authorities. We have the advantage of our positioning of our hotel as well, the location. So we are in the outskirts as well. So we come through the direct highway. So we don't have to worry about the interior of the Puri where exactly the things happen. So as a unit, if I have to tell you, we have the best advantage of our location. Now, as I said, the local authority, the tourism aspect of Puri have been very, very considerate. They understand that this market is going to be the niche one for them and for Odisha to represent in the larger circuit. So there are a lot of coordination which happens. They call us prior. Proper routes are defined. We are well versed with all those technicalities so that any and every guest who is staying in the property is kept vigilant and informed about any and every movement which is happening.
Tell me, this question I have for all of you, and thanks, Ankit. I'm just adding to it. Tell me, the Jatra happens once a year?
Yes. So, yes, Jatra happens once a year.
Right, and it is for 8 days?
10 days, I should say that.
Gotcha. What kind of crowds are we talking about?
So I'll tell you last year's number. 25 lakhs. Not for the entire 10 days.
और उस
It can
25
be a
लाख
single
में
day.
और उस 25 लाख में उड़ीसा के बाहर से कितने आते हैं?
I would say, I think Mr. Ashirbad would be the right person, but I would still say with my experience of last year, nothing less than 30-35%.
I would
Tell
say
me,
about
Ashirbad,
No,
40,
it will,
45.
it will, yeah, it will be around at least 50,
Yeah.
easily,
50-50?
Yeah,
easily, minimum.
because you know the
And
neighboring
one of the
state.
things I'm not sure if you guys, because I have seen when I was trying to, book for people during the Rath Yatra time. I mean, Ankit, even I think Aero Show will fall far behind.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Small rooms on the path of the Rath Yatra will get sold for 10-15K. I mean, it is like, the for travelers' nightmare and a hotelier's delight, and the rates will go skyrocket even more than the shack rates of, Goa during the New Year's Eve.
but tell
That is
me,
the kind of
25
thing.
lakhs.
but tell me that will have a cascading effect even on Bhubaneswar?
Absolutely.
Hardly.
Absolutely.
Hardly. It doesn't, we get the effect of the volume, but not of the rate. So
Yes,
basically,
volume.
the nearer you are to the, that path of
Jagannath
the
ji.
Lord Yatra, the higher the rates go up.
So
I mean, I'm not sure whether
tell me,
the hotels will have that much benefit, because who can actually be able to see Lord, they get the higher rate as of now.
मेरे को ये बताओ आशीर्वाद, I want to pick on the mind of Ashirbad and all of you, but how many branded hotels in Puri?
In terms of, well, we have Taj Puri, there is the Mayfair,
Yeah.
there is a new Swasti, there is a
That's also a
Sterling.
local brand.
Yeah.
We have
So,
got
Pan
Residenta
India.
also. We have got Royal Orchid as well as Fortune.
Fortune as well.
Okay, yeah. And tell me, what kind of pipeline are we talking about? Are there more hotels coming up?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely. I think in the next 36 months, we can see another close to 400 keys getting added up.
Which brands?
One is
there's a work
Samir's
happening on
Hotel,
Hyatt.
and then there is a Hyatt in the pipeline.
Lemon Tree.
Yeah, Lemon Tree, of course. Yeah.
Our property Welcome coming up.
Yes.
Yeah,
Welcome hotels.
Ashirbad just said, welcome, Samir's Hotel. Yeah. Okay, very interesting. And what kind of pipeline are we talking about, Bhubaneswar?
Bhubaneswar, with work in progress, what's been signed up, the next 36 months, we are adding up another 300 keys in the luxury, about 100 keys in the mid-luxury upper upscale space.
Just
About another-
IHCL? Just IHCL?
No, not at all. I mean the
Across the
industry
brands.
in general. Yeah.
All right. So which are the other brands which are coming up in Bhubaneswar?
There's a Novotel in progress. There is 400 rooms straight away from Sanjeeb Bhai, which is like the elephant kept aside. I'm talking about the rest.
Yes, no, we are coming up with Novotel. Probably a courtyard is coming up.
Lemon Tree
Lemon Tree, yes.
and a Hyatt work in progress. So that'll be the far
Very
end.
good.
Yeah,
Grand Mercure.
we got the Mercury coming up with.
So that's very reassuring and very interesting. And that speaks a lot about the potential of the state. Gentlemen, you are, you are sitting at the cusp of a great era for Indian hospitality in Odisha, right? So this place is, and the city is beautiful. Bhubaneswar is an amazing city. And that drive from Bhubaneswar to Puri, we need to sell these locations. We want domestic travelers to go and experience Odisha.
Absolutely.
Very,
Absolutely.
very interesting. And of course, all the other beaches, all the beach, number of beaches in Odisha. All right, that brings me to this where I'm not bothered about going over time because the show is so enjoyable. I have this short quiz for all of you. May I ask one or two questions?
Sure.
Right? The one who wins gets to host all of us, all paid. Right? So
So Ashirbad, you answer all the questions.
Ankit, I think you are the destination.
You're the
We'll
destination.
let you answer on our behalf.
You have all the blessings, darling. You are already in Puri. So tell me, Bhubaneswar is known as the temple city. Can you guess approximately how many temples are present in and around the city?
I can answer that from the historic point of view.
अब अभी आशीर्वाद और संजीव को बताने दे.
Okay, but I have the answer.
सब देंगे, बोलो.
So, as a native of this city, I would say unaccounted put together 1200 plus, but statistically it's 700 on board.
Yeah.
That's because some of the temples have got worn off, or a couple of them are on the same compound and therefore counted as one. But 1200 originally.
Excellent. Anybody wants to contest that?
No, I think
I will not contest it, but I have a story, sir, if I have to tell you. You know, I went to Lingaraj temple and the priest over says, you know how Bhubaneswar is known as a Gupta Kashi. It's not the Kashi, but it's the Gupta Kashi, because in Kashi you have 1 lakh temple. In Bhubaneswar you have 99,999 small, those numbers. But this is one shot, so it's called as Gupta Kashi.
Oh, very nice. Very interesting. You know, such trivia is so important for us to come back to the show. But you're right, the 700 temples officially, as per official count, though you said 1200. Tell me, what is the annual footfall in millions of pilgrims and tourists to Jagannath Temple, Puri, especially during Rath Yatra? You just told me 25 lakhs, but let me correct the figure. Bolo.
2 million during Rath Yatra, 1.5 to 2 million.
Acha.
I think it's 10.
Batao?
Roughly 10 million for the period.
It's 10 actually.
That is Ashirbad.
It's 10. It's 10.
It's 7 to 10 millions.
It's 8 to 10 million.
Yes.
So you can, Ashirbad, you need to look at the numbers of Ankit very closely. And during the next budget projections, you need to up his game.
I'm getting on a call with him right after this.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I had mentioned, if you didn't remember, I said 25 lakhs, not for a day. I
25 lakhs to your hotel, buddy.
And tell me, what else you've answered it all. What is the coastline? How many kilometers is the coastline of Puri?
Only Puri.
Are you talking about Puri as a city or Puri as a district? Because the coastline of Puri starts exactly after Konark. So there is something called as
The entire question, my dear, is what is the, I mean, how many kilometers of coastline does Puri?
150 if I'm not wrong.
Around 20 kilometers. The Puri would be not that much big.
No,
Puri
the
would be around 15
Puri
kilometers.
administrative area is 150, and I think the town or city wise you would be right around
correct, 150. Yes, that would be around 150.
Yeah, so the town is 12 kilometers.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
All 15, right, so very interesting session. You know, I have really had a ball of a session. And this is so educative, each word that you people have spoken. And, you know, it gets extremely interesting because this show gets beamed to hospitality schools and wannabe hoteliers who are already in hospitality schools or looking for a career, or children who are in school and colleges who are looking to get into hospitality schools are watching this. This is a great industry. Come be a part of this industry. You know, look at the jobs that these gentlemen are doing. They're lording over assets which are into thousands of crores, and they generate huge direct and indirect employment. And they don't come cheap, like I always keep saying. They don't draw low salaries. They are rich blokes, right? So, you know, be there, be part of this. But listen, it won't happen overnight. Gentlemen have burnt midnight oil. They have, apart from formal and informal education in the industry, they have done long hours. They've carried trays. You know, they've cleaned tables. they've done housekeeping, they've done everything. If you think that they just dropped from a conveyor line into the hot seat that they are in, no, they did not. They worked it hard. And look, there is no other alternative to hard work. Any words from you, gentlemen?
Mr. Khanna, I would just like to add one more thing, quoting from what was taken up in the Make in Orissa conclave yesterday. I mean, it may not be the exact word, but what Honorable Deputy CM said, that that Orissa's tagline always had been best kept secret. But she mentioned, let it not be a secret anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that's the message to the entire world who wants to come and visit the state. And the state is so beautiful with
It is. It
so
is.
many
By
places
far.
to
It is
explore.
by far. By
I
far.
mean, Bhubaneswar and Puri is probably just the just the starting point.
No, they're just the windows to the state. Now let me sum up the show with your permission, gentlemen. Ashirbad highlighted IHCL's strategic approach to balancing Bhubaneswar's cultural identity with modern leisure and MICE offerings. Rohit shared how Trident Bhubaneswar integrates luxury with local heritage, emphasizing the corporate and cultural guest experience. Jalpreet provided insights into how the Crown SeleQtions is leveraging Bhubaneswar's World Heritage ambitions to create boutique guest experiences. Especially like Jalpreet said, that prayer ritual which is done daily, right? And Sanjeeb spoke about Mayfair Lagoon's unique positioning as a cultural icon of Odisha and the operational strategies behind its continued success, apart from the 400-room new hotel that he is opening. Sanjeeb spoke about Samir underscored Welcomhotel's focus on sustainability through ITC's responsible luxury while carving out its niche in the MICE market. Ankit, the baby of the business, with his brand new 1-month-old hotel, he explained how Taj Puri Resort and Spa balances religious tourism with leisure and wellness offerings, especially during high demand events like Rath Yatra. And also you guys spoke about the strong pipelines and the room for setting up more luxury hotels across the state, but especially Puri and Bhubaneswar. It's so reassuring, each word that you've spoken, and this augurs well for the industry. Now, before I close this show, I want to thank Diversey with this video. Now, before I thank all the general managers, Diversey, thank you so much. Team BW and Team BW Hotelier, you hold the fort while we look at the cameras. You guys bring show after show. And this brings us to the last show of the week and the last show of the day. We'll come back with 4 more shows next week, 2 every Thursday, 2 every Friday. Lock your time till February end. 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. It's so reassuring to see that the industry sits secure with such wonderful hospitality talent, such general management talent. I must thank you all. Ashirbad, you're doing a damn good job, as I can see, for IHCL. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being on the show, Rohit.
Thank you, sir.
A brand ambassador for Oberoi and Trident. Samir, you're a great brand ambassador for ITC Hotels. Your company's just been listed, so more power to you. Jalpreet and Ankit, brilliant work for what you're doing. And Ankit, God bless you. You've got a long way to go. But like they say, if you crack the ball hard in the first 5 overs, the innings is going to be long and rewarding. So best of luck. Last
Thanks a
but
lot, sir.
not
Thanks a
least,
lot.
Sanjeeb, thank you for being on the show. It's always so wonderful to hear you out. And I'll be in Puri soon, and we shall all get together.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
I will take my Nibu Pani while you can grab your drink, and we shall celebrate and think what more can we do for this industry. May my master bless you all with more. Do well, keep shining, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
for being on
Thank
our
you
show.
so
Thank you,
much,
sir.
everyone.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone.
It's our
You
show
too.
or platform. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashirbad. Thank you, Samir. Thank you, Jalpreet, Sanjeeb, Rohit, and Ankit.